Your mechanic has at least 3 illegal modifications on his truck right now. He's not worried about it. And neither are the thousands of GMC owners running the same mods on the highway, in the parking lot, and through inspection stations every single year. 10 mods, all technically illegal in at least one state. Some illegal everywhere. One of them violates a federal act, and it actually makes your truck run better. One costs $0 and a Saturday afternoon. And the last one on this list is the single most effective modification you can make to a GM truck. And GM has been trying to stop it for a decade. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to tell you what works and what the law actually says. Let's start with number 10. Before I get into it, laws vary by state and by country. You're responsible for knowing what's legal where you live. This is educational content, not legal advice. That said, let's go. Number 10, and the most common illegal mod on any vehicle in America, is window tint beyond the legal limit. Most states allow 35% visible light transmission on front-side windows. Some states like California and New York are stricter, 70%. That's barely a shade darker than factory glass. Meanwhile, every truck meet, every parking lot, every neighborhood in the South, you'll see GMC trucks running 20%, 15%, sometimes 5% limo tint on every window, including the fronts. And nobody bats an eye. Here's why people do it. Quality ceramic tint, 3M crystalline, XPEL XR Plus, Lumar IRX, blocks up to 60% of solar heat coming through the glass. That's not a cosmetic number. That's the difference between your AC struggling at full blast and your cabin actually being comfortable in July. UV protection is 99%, which means your dash, your seats, and your steering wheel don't crack and fade after 5 years of sun exposure. The legal risk is a $25 to $250 ticket, depending on where you live. Some states write a fix-it ticket, remove it, and show proof. Others fine you every time they pull you over. New York does roadside tint checks with a meter. California is $25, but they want it removed. Here's the real talk. Quality ceramic tint on a full truck runs $700 to $1,100 installed. Cheap dye tint runs $200 to $300 but bubbles, turns purple, and looks terrible within 2 years. If you're going to run illegal tint, and millions of people do, at least run the good stuff. The most common illegal mod on every truck in America, and the one nobody regrets. This next one is almost as common, and the law is even less clear about it. Number 9, an aftermarket LED light bar mounted and wired for use. 20 to 50 inches, bolted to the roof, the bumper, or behind the grille, putting out 10 to 30,000 lumens of raw white light. Most states prohibit their use on public roads entirely. Some states like Kentucky and Louisiana ban them on road vehicles, period. Others require covers over the bar anytime you're on pavement. But here's the thing. Nobody installs a light bar for highway driving. You install it for the 2-lane back road with no streetlights, the hunting lease at 4 in the morning, the job site you have to navigate in the dark, the rural property where the nearest light source is a mile away, off-road and work use. Nothing else puts out this kind of light for the money. A quality bar from Rigid, Baja Designs, or even budget options from Nightlight runs $100 to $500 plus a wiring harness. Wire it to a separate switch on the dash. Put covers on it during road use. Only activate it off-road or on private property. That's how every smart owner runs them. The risk is a $50 to $200 ticket for an uncovered bar on the road. Some states will add it to whatever they originally pulled you over for. The smart approach is simple. Covers on, switch off, and nobody has anything to write a ticket for. Illegal on the road, indispensable off it. Now, number 8 is the one every V8 owner has considered at least once. Number 8, the muffler delete. Removing one or both mufflers from the exhaust system. Straight pipe from the catalytic converter back. Cost at an exhaust shop, $0 to $100. Cut, weld a straight section, done. It's the cheapest modification that exists, and let me be clear about something. A muffler delete is not a catalytic converter delete. Removing a catalytic converter is a federal crime under the Clean Air Act. A muffler delete is a state-level noise issue, very different legal territory. Your catalytic converters stay in place, your emissions equipment stays intact, You're simply removing the sound dampening. Why people do it? The sound. A 5.3 or a 6.2 with no mufflers has a raw, aggressive V8 note that no muffled system can replicate. There's also a minor weight reduction, 10 to 20 pounds, and a slight power gain from reduced back pressure. It's not dramatic, maybe 5 to 10 horsepower. But combined with the sound, it's enough for thousands of owners to make the call. Muffler deletes are technically illegal in all 50 states. Every state requires a functioning muffler or has a noise threshold. California enforces at 95 decibels. New York and Texas can fine up to $1,000. Most states, it's a $100 to $500 noise violation ticket. In states with annual inspections that include noise testing, you'll fail, and it gets worse. If you're in an accident with a modified exhaust, your insurance company can use it as a reason to investigate further. They probably won't deny a claim over a muffler delete alone, but it gives them a thread to pull. Every V8 owner has thought about it. Half of them have done it. Number 7. Running oversized tires without recalibrating your speedometer. This is the most popular setup in the GMC community. 33s on a leveled truck. Looks great. More ground clearance, better off-road capability. The problem is, your speedometer now reads wrong. Stock tires on most Sierra and Silverado models are 31 to 32 inches in diameter. Throw 33-inch tires on there, and your speedometer reads about 3% slow. At a true 70 miles per hour, your dash says 68. Bump up to 35s and you're off by nearly 6%. Dash says 66 at a true 70. Your odometer is also wrong, which means your mileage records are inaccurate from the moment you mount them. In some states, knowingly driving with an incorrect speedometer is a vehicle code violation. And in many states, tires extending beyond the fender flares without mud flaps or fender extensions violates splash and spray laws. 35-inch tires on a stock-width truck almost always stick out past the fenders. Here's what actually happens mechanically. With 33s on stock 342 gears, your effective gear ratio drops. The truck feels sluggish off the line. Transmission hunts between gears on the highway. Fuel economy drops 1 to 3 miles per gallon. With 35s, it's worse. You genuinely need to re-gear to 410 or 456 to restore drivability. That's $800 to $1,500 per axle. The speedometer fix is cheap. A $50 to $100 programmer or your handheld tuner can recalibrate for the new tire size. Most people just don't bother. Everyone wants the look. Almost nobody does the math. Stay with me here. Number 6 is the most harmless one on this list. Number 6, running extended tow mirrors when you're not towing anything. If you own a Sierra or Silverado with tow mirrors, you know what I'm talking about. Those mirrors flipped out to full extension, even with no trailer behind you. It's the look. It's iconic. And in most states, it's technically against the law. Many states require that mirrors stay within the standard vehicle width when not towing. The federal limit for a vehicle is 102 inches, 8.5 feet. Extended tow mirrors on a full-size GM truck push you past that. Iowa's vehicle code is the clearest about it. It specifically says side mirrors shall be retracted or removed when not towing. Why do people run them extended anyway? Better visibility when changing lanes, easier time parking and backing up, and the look. The full extension tow mirror on a Sierra AT4 or a lifted Silverado is a statement. The risk, rarely enforced on its own. $50 to $150 ticket in theory. It's almost always a secondary offense. They add it on during a traffic stop for something else. The real risk is physical. Extended mirrors add 6 to 10 inches per side. Drive-throughs, tight parking garages, narrow lanes. You will clip something eventually. I talked to an owner who ripped his passenger mirror off on a parking garage pillar 3 weeks after deciding to leave them out permanently. $200 lesson. Quick thing, if you're realizing your truck might have a few illegal mods on it right now, you're not alone. That's the whole point. Hit subscribe. I put out videos every week breaking down what works, what doesn't, and what nobody's talking about. So you know exactly what you're running and why. Number 5, and this is where the conversation changes, the DPF and EGR delete on a post-2007 Duramax. Removing the diesel particulate filter and the exhaust gas recirculation system from a diesel truck. Requires a delete kit running $500 to $1,500 and a delete tune running another $500 to $1,000 or more. Total cost, $1,000 to $2,500 installed. Let me be very direct. This is not a state-level issue. This is a federal violation under the Clean Air Act. The EPA has been cracking down since 2020. Shops that perform deletes have been fined anywhere from $50,000 to over $670,000. There was a shop in Nebraska hit with that number in 2024. Individual civil fines can reach over $45,000 per violation. As of 2025, the DOJ is no longer pursuing criminal charges for tampering, but civil penalties from the EPA remain fully active. Now here's the paradox, and this is why it's the most debated mod in the diesel community. The DPF and EGR system are the number 1 and number 2 failure points on every post-07 Duramax. The DPF clogs, requires Regan cycles that dump raw fuel into the exhaust and eventually needs replacement at $2,000 to $4,000. The EGR recirculates soot-laden exhaust back into the intake, carbon coating everything it touches. Remove both, and the truck runs cooler, gets 1 to 3 better miles per gallon, eliminates Regan cycles entirely, and the engine lasts significantly longer without soot recirculation destroying it from the inside. The truck runs better and lasts longer without its own emissions equipment. That's not opinion. That's what every diesel mechanic will tell you when nobody's recording. I am not recommending this. The legal risk is real. Warranty void is immediate. Resale can be complicated. Buyers in emission states may demand reinstallation, and the shop that does it risks their entire business. The most effective mod on this list. Also, the most illegal. Draw your own line. The next one isn't dangerous and isn't federal, but it carries a risk most people never think about. Number 4. Blacked out taillights. Smoked covers or tint film over your factory taillights. DOT standards require taillights to emit red light visible from at least 500 to 1,000 feet. Any tint that reduces output below that threshold, which even light smoke film does on factory incandescent bulbs, is technically illegal everywhere. Not in some states, everywhere. Why people do it? Aesthetics. Smoked taillights on a dark truck look aggressive. It's one of the cheapest mods that exists. $20 to $60 for covers, $50 to $150 for professional film. Takes 30 minutes. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just tint. How bad can it be? Here's why this one is different from every other mod on this list. Every other mod here mostly affects you. Your risk, your truck, your ticket. Smoked taillights affect the person behind you. Reduced taillight visibility means the driver behind you sees your brake lights later. In rain, fog, or dusk, significantly later. That's not a fine. That's a collision. And here's the real risk nobody talks about. If you're rear-ended and your taillights are tinted, insurance can argue contributory negligence. That's not a $100 ticket. That's a claim denial. Your insurance decides you contributed to the accident by reducing your visibility to other drivers. That's thousands of dollars out of your pocket. The smart alternative. Smoked LED taillights from brands like Morimoto or Alpha Rex that are brighter out of the box than your factory incandescent bulbs. Even with the smoke tint built into the lens, total light output meets or exceeds DOT spec. You get the look without the liability. The only mod on this list where the insurance risk is worse than the ticket. Let me be clear about this next one. It's the only mod on this list that makes your truck objectively worse. Number 3. Rolling coal. A smoke tune on a Duramax diesel. Programming the ECU to inject excess fuel on demand for visible black smoke out of the exhaust. It's a federal EPA violation under the Clean Air Act. 9 states have passed specific anti-rolling coal laws. Michigan classifies it as a felony with up to 4 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. New Jersey hits up to $5,000 in civil penalties. Colorado, Utah, Delaware, Maryland, and others all have specific statutes. But here's what makes this different from the DPF delete. The DPF delete makes your truck run better. Rolling coal makes your truck run worse. The excess fuel washes cylinder walls, dilutes oil, accelerates wear on the turbo and injectors. Exhaust gas temperatures spike to dangerous levels. You're literally burning money and engine life for smoke. There is no performance benefit. There is no reliability benefit. There is nothing gained except attention. And the diesel community knows it. Rolling coal is the single biggest reason the EPA looks harder at every diesel modification. Every delete, every tune, every aftermarket exhaust on a diesel truck gets more scrutiny because of the reputation rolling coal creates. The community is increasingly disowning it, not because it's illegal, but because it makes every diesel owner a target for stricter legislation. The only mod on this list that makes your truck worse, and the reason the EPA is watching all of us. Number 2 sounds harmless until you think about the physics. Number 2, speed limiter removal. Factory GM trucks are electronically limited to 98 to 112 miles per hour, depending on model and tire speed rating. A custom tune or handheld programmer can raise or remove that limit entirely. Some owners have pulled 130 or more from a stock 5.3. The limiter itself exists for a reason. Your factory tires have a speed rating. Most GM truck tires are rated S or T, which means 112 to 118 miles per hour max. Your brakes are engineered for a certain thermal load. Your suspension was tuned for stability within a speed range. Remove the limiter, and you're operating outside every engineering constraint the truck was designed around. Why do people do it? Some run track days. Some want headroom for open highway driving. Some argue the limiter interferes with engine braking strategy when towing downhill, which is a real edge case, but it exists. And some just believe that if they bought the truck, they should control what it does. Here's the math nobody runs. A 6,000-pound truck at 120 miles per hour has stopping distances measured in football fields. A tire rated for 112 miles per hour running at 130 is a blowout waiting to happen. And at those speeds, a blowout in a full-size truck isn't a flat tire. It's a catastrophic loss of control with 6,000 pounds of momentum behind it. The legal risk, exceeding posted speed limits, is already illegal. But if something happens at a speed the truck was never rated for, with a limiter you intentionally removed, the legal and insurance consequences go far beyond a speeding ticket. Just because you can, doesn't mean your tires agree. And number 1, the mod that ties everything together. Number 1, a full ECU retune. Custom calibration. The mod that changes more about how your truck drives than everything else on this list combined. HP tuners, EFI Live, Diablo Sport. These tools rewrite the factory ECU calibration, timing maps, fuel delivery, transmission shift points, throttle mapping, and in most cases, they disable AFM or DFM permanently. Not a plug-in disabler. A full software rewrite that tells the ECU to stop deactivating cylinders entirely. On a stock 5.3, a custom tune adds 20 to 40 horsepower. That's not a number on a screen. That's a difference you feel in the seat. Throttle response sharpens. The transmission shifts faster and firmer. No more soft hunting shifts on the highway. And because the tune is custom written for your altitude, your fuel grade, and your modifications, everything works together instead of fighting each other. Here's why it's technically illegal. In emissions-regulated states, California being the strictest under CARB, any tune that modifies emissions-related parameters is a violation regardless of whether the truck passes a sniffer test. No custom tune from HP Tuners or EFI Live is CARB legal for GM trucks. 0. In non-emission states, there's effectively no enforcement mechanism. Nobody is scanning your ECU at a traffic stop. The cost, HP Tuners hardware, runs $400 to $500. Custom tunes from reputable tuners run $200 to $500 per calibration file. Newer platforms like the 2024 to 2026 L5P Duramax require an ECU unlock service for another $1,000. Total investment can reach $1,500 to $2,000. Older platforms like the 5.3 or 6.2 on a K2XX or GMT 900, $400 to $750 total gets it done. The warranty risk is real. Dealers can see the ECU flash count. Every time the computer is rewritten, the counter increments. It doesn't reset. However, tunes can be returned to stock before service, and unless the dealer actively investigates, a stock flashed ECU with a higher counter doesn't prove anything on its own. This is number 1 because it's the foundation. Every professional build starts with a tune. Every mechanic's truck that's been optimized has a tune. It's the single modification that makes every other modification work better. and the one GM has been trying to lock down for the last decade. The mod that changes everything, the one every mechanic has, and the one GM wishes you didn't know about. 10 mods, all technically illegal somewhere. Some just on paper, some very real. The range goes from a window tint ticket to a federal civil penalty. And knowing the difference is what separates an informed owner from a surprised one. I'm not here to tell you which ones to do. That's your call, your state, your risk. But now, you know what works, what's actually enforced, and where the real consequences are. What you do with that information is between you and your truck. If you want to see the mods that are completely legal and worth every dollar, watch 3 worst and 4 best GMC upgrades you can buy. That's the companion to this video. And for the full maintenance and longevity plan, watch how to make your GMC last over 300,000 miles. Your mechanic has at least 3 of these on his truck. Now you know which 3. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.